Welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast with hosts Dan and Mike Smith, brothers from the same mother with different opinions on movies, TV, video games, and more, plus celebrity interviews. Get ready, get set, it's time for the Oh Brother Podcast. Welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith over here.
Me? Over here.
All right, let's get right into this. So it is, what is it, Mike? We know that we're in one of our favorite seasons, which is
Halloween.
Well, it's Halloween Fest on Oh Brother, which this is like the third pass through.
You know the worst thing?
That we've got it.
The first Halloween Fest, I bought the Friday the 13th box set.
Okay.
It was $130. I'm like,
right now, 10 cents.
Well, yeah, it's close enough, but I haven't even opened it.
So, well, all right.
I was afraid, FOMO.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Yeah, which I didn't know that until like a week ago.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I better get it. It's going to go up.
Mike, always on the cutting edge. What happened to you, man?
I don't know.
I
don't even know why I bought it for this.
I used to take your lead.
I bought it for this. That's the worst part.
Right.
And we never did it.
All right, let me get this out. So it's 10/10/22, October 10th, 2022, when you get in this episode of the Oh Brother Podcast. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos out there. Easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is actually to go out to our official website, which is OHB as in brother podcast.com. We're bringing back the mugs. We had to
ask you a question about the mugs now that we're bringing them out.
I don't think maybe 3 episodes of the well over 100 that we've done, I've gotten the entire intro out, but yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Why is the logo? Why are you a foot taller than me?
Because I am.
My whole life, I was taller than you. My whole life.
Yeah, but that's what happens as you get older, and
I was thinner than you.
Gravity, things start to pull you down.
I was smarter than you.
Well, you'll be like Al Pacino at the end of Godfather 3 by the time we're done with this episode.
I'm like Fredo already.
Fredo? Michael, maybe, to use your own moniker. All right, so as I was saying,
I handed you Fredo.
As I was saying, OHB as in brother podcast.com. You can find us on all podcast platforms, but we'll get into all that later in the show. The guys are going to put that in the video for us so that you know where to find us.
Follow us on the magical genies.
Yeah, follow us on social media. Yeah, big shout out to Anthony and Nicholas, who've been doing just a fantastic job for us. They handle all the heavy lifting behind the scenes with the editing and our social media work and all that good stuff. So we really appreciate what they're doing for us. But now I love the spontaneity of the show sometimes because
I don't.
That's true. You don't.
I hate it.
Mike does not like surprises when it comes to your brother podcast.
We decided to do this episode 10 minutes ago.
Just about.
And you were like, let's go. Get on the thing. And I'm like,
that's funny.
I got to take a shower. I got to set up.
Yeah, I got like a little, I don't know if it's like you, I need the hair. I need to bring the comb out and brush the old hair. But yeah, so I'm saying the spontaneity, because we were sort of trying to map out. First of all, I'm so excited because of all the things that are coming up that we can't really talk about right now. But by the time this episode comes out on the 10th, we still won't be able to, we can't reveal anything yet, but certain episodes will have been recorded and ready to come out. So more on that to come. But we were trying to figure out, okay, we need to put out another episode soon and get one set for next week. So we were talking about different ideas, and we've had some requests to do some of those trailer reaction videos, and we talked about that a little bit. And it's very clickbait. Yeah, it's very clickbait. Yeah. So I'm not sure that we'll ever get there. But
and plus, we couldn't even stack up 2 trailers that we would want to go see.
Well, or that we haven't seen, or yeah.
I mean, it was pretty slim pickings.
It was slim pickings.
And then you came across this movie I never heard of.
Right. So I just happened to be scrolling on the Apple TV Plus menu, which we featured movies on here from like every streaming platform there is. And Apple TV is one that we've done several movies on. in shows as well. You know, Loot, and I remember On the Rocks we did with
Severance. I can't wait for that to come
Severance.
back.
Yeah. So I just happened to notice this advertisement for a movie called The Greatest Beer Run Ever. I didn't know what it was. Had kind of an intriguing poster.
Title.
Yeah, and the poster. Yeah, the image. So I read the synopsis and I said, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. And I said, hey, why don't we do this? And so you said, yeah, okay. So we decided to do this movie. Now, this was, it's based on a true story, which is another thing that I said, hey, it's kind of interesting. It's based on a true story.
Yeah, but aren't you cynical when it says based on a true story now?
No, but I think the expectations go up a little bit.
Ever since I found out Fargo was total garbage, it was just made up.
You mentioned that on the show.
I was like,
yeah,
I'm never going to believe it again.
Yeah, but there were some other things too. I looked and I said, okay, Russell Crowe is in this. Bill Murray has a supporting role in it. And Zac Efron, who, okay, say what you will, you know, he's been kind of a heartthrob type, and he's done a lot of those types of movies. You know, he's usually got a shirt off in every film that he's in. Yeah. But this seemed like a different
if I look role. Like him, I would take my shirt off for old brother.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's very fit. He's in great shape.
I'd be like, what do you think of this? What the directing?
And he's a very healthy guy too. But well, clearly, because you can see how he looks, you know, in terms of his working out regimen and all that stuff. But I said, okay, this looks like something different for him. So, because I've never been like, oh, I'll run out to the theater to see the next Zac Efron film, but they just never appealed to me. You know, it's nothing against him personally, but
well, something that's coming up, which is coming back to Amazon, is what you sent it to me. Do you remember?
On Prime?
Yeah, on Prime. John Krasinski.
He's going to be in Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan. He's doing the 3rd series of Jack Ryan.
What's he going to play in Jack Ryan?
Who? Krasinski?
No, you said Zac Efron.
Yeah, he played John Ryan in the last John Ryan film, didn't he? Or do I have that totally wrong?
I just love this because I think it's kind of it's not. I don't even write this in the show notes, but every time you butcher someone's name. So 2 seconds ago, on air, you just said Jack Ryan. We both said Jack Ryan.
Correct, and I said Krasinski. You didn't hear that.
Correct. No, I heard it. But then you said John Ryan twice.
Yeah, he played John Ryan in the last John Ryan film, didn't he?
I said, well, yeah, Zac Efron might be in something called John Ryan, but he's not in Jack Ryan.
How many Johns do you know
Krasinski
that go by Jack, right?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with anything?
I'm just saying, John, Jack, they're interchangeable.
You're trying to cover your Jack tracks.
Yeah,
is what
exactly.
You're trying to do. But no, I mean,
Jack here.
Zac Efron might be in it, but he's not Jack Ryan.
Who's Jack Ryan in the 5th one?
John Krasinski.
No,
you're talking about
the movies.
These are not the movies. This is a series on Amazon.
I know, but it's based on a character that's been in 5 movies. The first one was Alec Baldwin.
And then Harrison Ford after Hunter.
I just got you. Bing.
You didn't get me.
Yeah, because it started with Harrison, and then I interrupted.
I didn't say Harrison. You said it started with.
I said it started with Alec Baldwin.
Move on. Totally.
It's irrelevant.
A bit. It's not irrelevant, but not a bit. That's because I'll just hang you out. I'll hang you out to dry. So keep going. So you were saying about John Ryan, the series.
Jack Ryan.
I swear to God, I was waiting. I said, he's going to say Zach Galifianakis. I know he's going to say Zach Galifianakis.
No, I'd have 2 ferns beside me. If in the first one, it was Alec Baldwin and Hunt for Red October. Then
Patriot Games.
Clear and Present Patriot Games.
Right.
And then
no. Wait a second now. It's Patriot Games, then Clear and Present Danger.
I don't know.
Whoa, stop the presses, folks.
And then Ben Affleck took it over.
Right.
For first one. And then there was a 5th one. Who was the 5th?
I don't know. I jumped off before we even got to that point. Oh. Honestly, when Harrison was done, I was done. I just wasn't interested.
Ben Affleck actually was pretty good.
Yeah, it's just I just don't like when they switch it up all. It's like, James Bond. I mean, can we at least have them for, 10 movies maybe or something before you switch them up?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even remember the name of the movie. I had to type in, here it is, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. No, that's
Mhm.
Krasinski, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Clancy is the author,
Here it is. No.
the
Shadow
novelist.
Recruit was the name of the movie
With Ben Affleck.
with Chris Pine.
Okay, can we just leave that right there?
Yeah. All
Can we
right.
just
We'll
leave
just
that right
set.
there?
Well, Chris Pine, he's a good
Do we
looking dude.
have we talked about Anthony and Nicholas yet? Because
Well, they're going to have fun with
they're gonna have
this.
they're gonna get their hours in.
But
Okay.
so now we have
Wow,
a
folks.
sixth.
You're
Jack
bringing this to a
Ryan.
grinding halt. Okay, folks, just for the record, this is not an episode about Jack Ryan. For Christ's sake. This is about a movie called The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Let me just
At least they took a stab at it.
Hey, speaking of which, before we get back into that, you can't see it, I know, but I put this out on Instagram just a little while ago. But that's every Halloween movie up on my shelf, including, and the glare is kind of screwing
What
it
is
up.
it like? The little posters?
No, it's all the movies lined up on the
Oh,
shelf.
you actually have the Blu-rays.
Yeah, everything's up there. The 4K versions, all the iterations are up there.
Wow, it doesn't look that long.
Well, again, it's.
I mean, I got a whole shelf.
The depth perception is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Plus, I have those collectible cans for 4 and 5, which we love.
Right.
And then you can't. Again, it's hard to tell. I don't know if the guys can zoom in here, but I've got the Michael Myers Funko Pop that, remember, was signed by Danielle Harris.
That's right. That's right.
And then I
think it says to Mike on it.
It does. And then I have The Shining. I have Jack from The Shining, and then Alien over here for my Funko Pops. Anyways, just again,
I've got nothing.
We're in Halloween Fest now. It's weird that we're doing this movie because it's got no. Maybe we can make some connection to Halloween Fest by the time we're done.
I think I might be able to help.
This could be a bloodbath. Yeah. So, all right. So it's directed by and co-written by Peter Farrelly of the Farrelly brothers, Peter and Bobby. And, these guys, now we know these guys, they're like from the Rhode Island area, right? A couple of New England guys like us and a couple of brothers like us, and known for very popular comedy us.
Not When Harry.
No, that's Rob Reiner. Wow. He just, folks.
The worst part is.
Oh, brother, be on vacation for the next 3 weeks.
This is what happens when you rush me.
Checks into a clinic.
I can see the cover.
You're thinking of Chris Pine.
No, oh my God.
Holy
Ben
moly.
Stiller was in it.
We're never going to get through this episode.
All right, help me out with the title.
All right, so wait. Oh, you're talking about There's Something About Mary.
Cameron Diaz. Yeah.
There's Something About Mary. Yeah,
Something
with the famous.
What did I say? I was about to say.
I don't know.
When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
That's what I was loading up.
That was about 20 years prior.
Yeah.
With
but
Billy
they did
Crystal.
that. That's like their biggest hit, I think. Still,
it's one of the. Well, yeah. Now, who did Dumb and Dumber? That's not Farrelly's,
no,
right? Who was?
No, it is. Yeah,
is it Farrelly's?
Yeah, the first one anyway.
So Dumb and Dumber then would have.
And then they did the Conjoined Twins,
right? Which actually.
I don't think that would go over today.
No, but it was pretty popular. Like it was.
Yeah, that was Matt Damon and.
Yeah, so these guys have made their bones on those types of
comedy.
Films.
Yeah.
So when I saw this advertised on Apple TV as a drama, now if you a little further exploration, you see it billed as a comedy drama.
Okay,
that's more accurate. That's more.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't a drama.
No, it's not a drama, but again, I also mentioned it's based on a true story. So it's about this this guy named, is it John Donohue? Chickie Donohue.
Yeah,
I think was the real guy's name. And he's
no
still alive.
Spoilers here because it's only been out for a few days.
No spoilers. If you haven't seen it, turn off, come back and watch it.
No, because this isn't the one that
total freedom to talk about whatever I want to do over the podcast.
I don't think I'm not going to spoilers.
Then I'll tell you what happens at the end right now. First of all, it's about Vietnam. Everybody knows how that went. There's nothing to spoil.
Yeah, but this
check into your spoiler clinic because you need to get over that. this whole like, oh, we're not going to say
Last
anything.
show,
And why are we even on mic?
The first thing that came up was spoilers.
What that came up?
On the chat.
Oh, by Rexer from the Rexer show. One guy out of thousands of viewers.
Yeah, thousands of viewers.
Please give me a break.
On that night.
Yeah, sorry to spoil the outcome of Pinocchio for you, Rexer, but just so you know, it's
his nose grows at the end.
Exactly. Oh
no, but
shit. Okay, so listen.
So I'm going into this from what you're telling me.
What?
This movie.
Because you didn't watch it?
No, I like the reason I would have never watched this movie.
Well, all I did was read the synopsis to you, basically, and I said, "Look, it's based on a true story."
Yeah,
you know, I gave you the cast rundown, and I think hearing that just as I did, you thought, well, "Okay, that sounds interesting enough."
Yeah.
And again, Apple TV, so you know, after plunking down money at the theater, let's check it out.
But even if I, was flipping through Apple TV, I don't think I would have watched it. I don't know why. Even though, like you said, interesting title.
I may not have. I may not have, but again, I just thought with all those elements, it was enough for me to go, let me give it a shot. Now, it's just over 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
And again, if the title again, The Greatest Beer Run Ever. So it's about this real life guy, Chickie, who, essentially is, how would you describe him? He's basically kind of he's a guy that sleeps until noon. He's not got a lot going on. He's just kind of, sort of aimless. He's a merchant marine. He's a younger veteran.
So he goes out to sea like every 6 months.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of his buddies that are over fighting the war in Vietnam.
Right. And he had done service.
Right.
But it was before the war.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't see any
battle or anything.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So long story short, he decides to do something as opposed to what you hear him say in the movie a couple of times, which is what he'd been doing, which was nothing, and deliver his buddies over their beer.
Right.
So
they're at a bar, the local bar that they all hung out at.
Right. Now, first of all, this is it's set in New York.
Right, but they're all doing Massachusetts accents.
Let's take a quick tangent because we got to get this rant out there. Okay,
yeah,
folks, you'll very quickly know where Mike and I stand on this. About two more minutes into this conversation, but it's two guys who grew up in New England, know this accent very well.
Yeah.
Okay, I literally almost every other day I can pick someone out just when they start talking. Say, oh, they must be from New England.
Yep,
it's just very distinct, and so. I didn't understand because in the beginning of the film, you see they're setting it up. It's in New York.
But everybody's doing Boston.
But everybody's doing a Boston accent and not a good one either.
I was very confused when he first said to somebody, I think it was the guy, the Vietnamese guy that he kind of made friends with, sort of.
Nicknamed him
Traffic.
Nicknamed him
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Right.
Because he kept saying Oklahoma.
And then he called him New York.
Yeah. He's like, I'm from New York. And I was like, wait a second. Was that bar in New York?
Exactly. No, I'm like, so was this like an enclave or something of just like Massachusetts folks?
Right. Because they have those bars.
And now Bill Murray did one of the most over the top, like one of the worst Boston accents ever,
and he was clearly doing Boston. They either changed it for some reason, right? I don't know why, or I don't know.
And then the only thing I could figure is I know, like this guy Chickie in real life, he graduated high school, and then I know it says that he also graduated from,
got his GED.
Well, yeah, but he also graduated from the Harvard management, like the Kennedy School or whatever in Harvard.
Yeah, that's like a scam to say you went to Harvard.
Okay, whatever.
You take one class.
I'm just making a connection between.
I know.
I'm not trying to say.
And I'm just.
Don't worry, we're more educated.
I'm just making a connection.
You're okay. Your ego's intact. Yeah. No, listen.
I'm just saying. With me.
Yeah, okay.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that I have 5 degrees. It has nothing to do with it.
Right. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. So but anyways, yeah. So that was the only thing I thought, is maybe there was some little connection to this guy having spent a little time in Massachusetts, but it made no sense. Now,
it was
again,
weird.
Farrelly is from there, and as with almost every Farrelly brothers movie, they put all of the local stand-up comics or any, is it Rick Sweeney? Steve Sweeney. Steve Sweeney was in this.
Is he still around?
He was in the film.
He was in the film?
And you didn't recognize him because
I didn't recognize him.
Steve is a little older now, and he looked more like Dad in the film. Wow. But there's a scene at which he's talking to one of these guys. It's in some office. Zac Efron's character as Chickie is trying to make his way back, get his way back to the ship that he came in on.
Steve Sweeney is over in Vietnam.
Steve Sweeney's in Vietnam. He's like, well, over here in Vietnam, I got to tell you, it's wicked.
Wow.
He just came right off the stage at Nick's Comedy Stop. It was like that bad.
Wow.
You never did stand up there, did you?
I never did.
But so yeah, that was very confusing from the beginning. And honestly, throughout the whole movie, it bothered me because it wasn't so much that it was like, isn't this in New York? But they sound like they were bad accents.
Yeah.
They weren't even good accents.
Yeah. But like I said, they were clearly trying to do a Boston accent.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way it was sold, and then they flipped it.
Why not just set it in Massachusetts?
I don't know.
Why does everything have to be set in New York?
Right. It's such a stupid point to the movie.
It is.
But
it's meaningless.
I had the same issue. Like, it would come out of nowhere when he would meet. What are you doing here, Chickie? Man, come on. Where's Sully?
Exactly. Murph, Skipper.
Yeah. Where's Sag and Cal? Where's the bus?
Forever now, that's in the archives of the Old Brother podcast. The Cal and Sag reference. Yeah. So that was off-putting from the beginning. I mean, they were just terrible accents. They were done just horribly.
We got to look into that, because I swear that
it was just a strange thing. There. It was a strange thing. So right off the bat, I'm just sort of like, okay, what am I in for here?
Yeah, let's get into the movie.
So getting into the movie, yeah. So we set up the premise, which is that he wants to go do this good deed, and
he wants to bring all his buddies from back home a beer.
Yeah, and we don't need to recount all the details of the movies. At least the movie, I don't. But I think, the thing I want to say most is, it's clear that this premise, this story, has already been done to death. And I feel like Peter Farrelly must have just had some very personal reason that he wanted to do this. He was moved by the guy's story or something. Maybe he'd been wanting to tell a story about Vietnam for a long time. But
you mean this exact story has been told before?
But just this whole Vietnam backdrop with the protesting,
the politics of it.
The politics. Yes. So I even wrote down that it totally failed to add anything new to the political and social commentary of Vietnam.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but that's what you can see. That's what Farrelly's trying to do. He's trying to add his own commentary to it.
Right.
But it's been done to death.
Because Chickie and all the boys at the bar are all like, yeah, our boys are kicking their asses, those communist Vietnamese,
Right.
And they're all, it doesn't matter why we're fighting. You follow the president. He's,
Yeah. And the attempt to infuse music of the time in the 60s.
The music was terrible.
It wasn't that it just didn't work. And it was like, is this Good Morning Vietnam? It was like he was trying to redo Good Morning Vietnam. And quite honestly, that's the movie this movie wanted to be, I think. Because that was a comedy drama.
Right.
Starring the late, great Robin Williams.
Right.
And it was a great movie, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite movies.
This is way different because of this excursion he takes.
Yeah,
but
sure,
it's a metaphor, right?
Actually, it isn't that much different. Robin Williams goes over there as a DJ, which,
but it's a metaphor. Him going around to meet his buddies, each time it's a lesson learned about the war, because he thinks they're going to hug him and happy to see him. and a couple of them are. But most of them are like, what are you doing here, you idiots?
Wasn't that a bit odd too? You know, that he gets to Vietnam and everybody just knows who this guy is and recognizes him immediately.
Yeah.
Aren't they in the jungle?
And it was 2 hours and
right.
And people are like, Chickie?
I mean,
is
honestly,
that you?
I needed to go on a beer run halfway through this film.
Plus, you know, beer's pretty heavy. Last time I checked, when you load up a big duffel bag full of beer, he was winging that thing around like he was juggling.
And again, he's got the guns, but not like
not
that strong. He's not that strong. Yeah, he was like he was carrying around 3 dead bodies in there.
And he gave out beers to everyone, but at the end, he still had plenty of beer.
Yes, he did. He did.
Like, why is the bag still full?
He even conveniently had one for his sister, who he just happened to know was going to be where he was at that particular time.
Yeah,
a lot of plot holes here that, you know.
I had a feeling you were going to like this.
You know, it's interesting too. Russell Crowe, who plays he's a member of the press. He's over there as a reporter.
It was a small part.
It was a small part, yeah. But you know, now originally, I don't know if you read this, but it was supposed to be. Dylan O'Brien was going to be cast, I think, as Chickie, and then Viggo Mortensen was cast.
The photographer.
I believe he was going to be Russell Crowe's.
So do you know why it changed?
No, it just said by the time they, you know, maybe they ended up with other.
I am confused at the choice of him and Bill Murray being in this movie. They were almost a distraction.
Yeah, but I think I suspect I don't know this to be true, but it seems to me that, you know, maybe Farrelly, they've got a relationship.
That's what I think
with Bill Murray through the comedy. Is my guess.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Now it was interesting.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
Hey, look, in the middle of the movie, there's a photographer that looks like a fat Russell Crowe. he has put on some tonnage.
He has put on a lot of weight. He really has. And you know, I was talking to my girlfriend about this yesterday, actually. And maybe he's just happy. I mean, no, you know, nothing against Russell, but
no, I think
you know what I brought up though. Let me make this point about that is in fairness to him, because I think it's something through the Hollywood lens right now. Here's a guy that skyrocketed to fame
in Gladiator,
right? So you're always now have to live up to that,
right?
That's
a fair point because of the body imaging.
Absolutely. And let's be fair, the women have dealt with this.
Oh yes,
forever.
And I was gonna say, not just women deal with this. A lot of guys, like you know, a lot of the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of eating disorders in wrestling.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And you know, they use this, you know, the chemicals and stuff because it's a real sensitive issue, because that's what people are always looking at. You know, they go out there in a tutu, for crying out loud.
Right.
Well, Doink the Clown, but
Doink. Oh my God, there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
But yeah, you know, it was like, Chickie, what are you doing with Russell Crowe? I was waiting for that line.
Yeah,
you know?
It's weird. It was
just
very
weird.
Strange. But now Russell Crowe's character, Arthur Coates.
And this is obviously, I knew when he was taking the photos, we were going to see them at the end. Didn't you know that?
Oh, yeah.
It was McDoke.
And he and Russell Crowe was taking a lot of the photos. Now, I don't know if you're talking about Zac, because at one point
both.
Yeah. But he worked in the movie, he works for Look magazine, which is interesting to me because that's the magazine Stanley Kubrick worked for.
Yeah.
He was a photographer.
Just out of business
before he got into directing.
Yeah.
So there were, the accents. Okay. So wait, the accents were bad. Then they were doing these flashbacks between Chickie and his neighborhood buddy Tommy, which like Farrelly was trying to, you know, get this emotional reaction from you, and it just was not. There were scenes like you said with taking the photographs, right? They'd be walking down the street and then just be like, you know, dead bodies everywhere, and
hey, Chickie,
parents crying over their dead kids and this and that. And I was like, eating cereal. Like it just had no
The emotion wasn't
impact.
there. I
Wasn't
totally
there at all.
agree. Because the comedy was there. There was a few comedy
A few.
points that he hit, but there was only one emotional tag for me, which was at the end with the mother.
And I gotta say,
That
Zac,
was it.
and I gotta say, so first of all, I do want to give credit to Zac Efron because look, it appeared to be an attempt at something different for him.
Well, no,
again,
he did Jack Ryan.
oh, that's right, with Chris Pine.
Yeah, him and Chris Pine. He was his body double.
That's right. Did he play Spock too? The Star Trek reboot.
Chris Pine plays
Captain Kirk. Yeah,
no,
there was another bad joke on my part.
No,
okay, so
I was looking for the emotional.
Interrupted me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The hell did I? Well, now I don't know what.
Well, it was the emotional point with the mom.
Oh, right. No, I was just saying credit to Zac Efron because again, here's a movie where he's not just playing the hot guy or whatever, and you could see some acting chops there at the end with that. It was a very quick scene,
right?
But to your point, it was the only time where I felt anything at all.
Right. Any kind of real emotion.
Right. And I gotta say, I feel like it was the writing. I blame a lot of this on the writing, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say the directing, which is
well,
ironic.
There's nothing to write home about regarding the directing either. Yeah. Sorry, Peter, but I just think the writing was so bland.
But as we talked about up front, what gets you to watch the movie, I think, is that it's Peter Farrelly and you know him.
But yeah, but you've also got Russell Crowe and Zac Efron and
I didn't know Russell Crowe was in it until I saw him, which
was you must not have heard me say that.
No, I didn't, and it was deep in the movie. I forgot. You did tell me. You did tell me,
right?
But I forgot until I saw him at the bar, and I thought that was going to be it for him.
Right.
That was he was just a 5-minute gig, him trying to get work.
It was like too colorful. It wasn't gritty. There was no realism.
I mean, think about fake movies like Platoon. I don't know. You've never seen Hearts of Darkness, right?
No.
Which is based on, it's crazy because it's based on the making of
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. That's like, they were in the middle of Vietnam. It was crazy.
Well, and again, you got Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise, and you mentioned Platoon, Good Morning Vietnam. I mean, there's so many. It's been done.
The story's been told.
It's been told.
We were lied to, like we were lied to about the pandemic, like politicians lied to us every day.
Right, which was a big point they were.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't say trying to make because that's been known for years.
Right. There was one sequence where he's hiding in a bush and he sees an American tank blow a hole in our embassy over there in Vietnam.
Right.
And of course, you see, whoever on the news.
Yeah, the VC.
They're going to attack our embassy. Right. We're going to put them down.
There was another thing too, the naivete in the movie, but specifically in Chickie's and Zac Efron's character.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because what I didn't understand, tell me if you agree, I don't know, but I was thinking, okay, so in the beginning, as you talked about one of the opening scenes in the bar where he gets this idea to bring them all beers.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much, this whole attitude about they're over there, they're fighting for our freedom and they're kicking ass and all of this. And then he gets over there and actually, let me back up a second. There's another scene where Zac Efron and his buddy get into it with Zac's sister in the film, Chickie's sister,
with a bunch of protesters,
anti-war protests, and this kind of peaceful protest. And so, okay, you're like, that's Zac Efron's, that's Chickie's attitude towards the war. He's on the other side of that argument. But then when he gets over Vietnam, he's befriending all the Vietnamese and he's feeling sorry for the enemy. Like, he just seemed very naive about the whole thing all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then it was like, I don't know. I think it was that one night when he's with Russell Crowe that it's like, it dawns on them. You know, Russell Crowe teaches them lessons in like 5-second sound bites.
Right.
And
yeah,
oh yeah,
that's another
really.
thing, right? It was just very throwaway kind of moments.
Look what's going on in our country with the Trump stuff. I mean, I can't help think people are following him like he's, I don't know, he's an idiot, right?
What's that got to do with greatest spear run ever?
Well, because, you know,
you're talking about just
you were talking about the political, you know, we see a lot of LBJ on TVs. Every time he goes to a bar, you see LBJ on TV.
It's messaging, right? War is like anything else. It's commodified. There's branding involved. There's a marketing campaign behind war, and it's that famous. Well, not. I mean,
it's no different than George Bush.
No, but it reminds me of Jackson Browne's song on, if you have not heard the album Lives in the Balance,
awesome.
Watch it. It's one of the albums, like top to bottom, is just amazing.
I would probably we had talked about doing a top 5, and that would probably be in my top 5.
Yeah, one of the lines in one of the songs is they sell us everything from youth to religion the same way they sell us our wars. And that's kind of the same. It's the same thing. It's the point you're trying to make. It's
in fact, maybe if they use that song,
you got to be skeptical.
We could have done away with Russell Crowe's character.
Perhaps.
Or, you know, perhaps Bruce Springsteen, you know. But people totally misinterpret that song.
Born in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just dogged George Bush, so I should dog a Democratic president, so they don't think it, because I'm apolitical. But Trump's a nut. Bush lied to us to get us in the Iran war, right? I mean, that's kind of my history with presidents.
Iraq, Iran, you know.
Yeah. You know.
Same difference.
What? Well,
Afghanistan.
Yeah. So
I don't know. We're going to end on a grounding halt like we started?
Yeah. I mean,
why don't you tell us a little bit more about Chris Pine?
We might want to take that out. That did take us into a grinding halt. But
it really was a grinding halt.
But I was like, you know, I just bashed 2 Republican presidents. I should like even it out somehow.
Well, as Chickie says, you should respect the office of the president.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, whether you believe with the person's ideals, or this, that, and the other, whatever.
Whether you steal from it or not, respect it.
All right, guys. So we're going to leave it up to you what to do here at the ending of this episode, since it's gone off the rails.
Oh, man.
Leave it to Mike, as always.
Hey, you know.
So I would say
gold, sometimes you get bronze.
Yeah, sometimes you get.
Sometimes you don't place.
Sometimes you don't place. Say thank you. Well, listen. This is one I'm not recommending that you see, and actually, when you look on Wikipedia, I think it says something like, you know, there's always that, you know, cast, production, the different sections under the Wikipedia, and then it gets to reception, and you click it, it says no favorable reviews.
Not one.
Nothing.
Oh my! Well, it's only
it says something like it was received unfavorably by the critics or something. Now, it's only been out since September 30th.
Right. But it's only a few days. But expect this one to be lower than what did we do last week?
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Expect this to be lower than Pinocchio.
It's going to be rotten, folks, because it is rotten. Yeah.
Rotten to the core.
All right. Well, listen, before we wrap up, again, for those of you that are not currently following us, make sure that you do. And the easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our official website, which is OHB as in brother, podcast.com. That's ohbpodcast.com. Mike commenting on the height difference again. But you can go there. You can follow us on social media at OHB Podcast. You'll see all that here in the video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Continuing to see that grow. And the Pinocchio episode is getting a lot of attention. It seems like it might be heading the way of Mulan, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. But that was an interesting conversation. Yeah. So this is interesting. This is 2 in a row here for us.
Yeah, 2 that we agree on.
Yes.
That were terrible.
Yeah.
Usually we have something. I thought you were going to like this.
This was another big pile of shit.
I was really surprised that you went right with me.
I wished I had, but I didn't. You know, really, this was nothing more than, since I'm advertising the podcast here, I must say that honestly, this comes off as nothing more than a Pabst Blue Ribbon commercial, is really what the film boils down to. Matter of fact, it was based on, there was a short story written about this Chickie Jones incident or whatever. Chickie Donohue, Chris Pine, whoever the hell he is. Yeah. And
Chickie something.
And it was made into a short film that was shown on Veterans Day, like in 2016 or something, as part of a Pabst Blue Ribbon campaign.
Good Lord.
So it just, I'm like, okay. And then what does the poster look like? Zac Chickie is sitting up on a big can of beer.
Yeah.
With Pabst. Yeah.
I'm surprised. The other one was Schlitz.
Commodification. Schlitz was in this.
Was it in there?
Oh, yeah. It was on the wall in the bar. And,
but they don't make that anymore, do they?
Schlitz? I don't know. I don't really go looking for Schlitz.
Still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both. When I was a kid, or when I was like 15, that was like the cheapest beer. So that's what we would get.
Or one of Dad's go-tos, Michelob.
Remember Michelob.
You want to taste it?
No, he was a Coors guy.
Well, he became a Coors guy, but he was very much a Michelob guy back in the old camping days.
Hey, let us know what your favorite beer was.
Let us know in the comments. All right, folks, that's going to do it for another episode of the Wicked Good Oh Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
Thank you, Dan. I can't even do it. I can't fake it.
You can't even do your own genuine accent.
Fake it. If I get tired, I'll slide into it.
Can you do us all a favor and just go back to your very classic and very simple?
Bye, everyone.